Hello investors, I'm just Randy and we're back with another video update on Proterra or ACTC. For those of you that own this stock, you've been following my channel, thank you so much for the support. Today I want to keep you updated and we want to talk about this green movement. I know a lot of people were concerned when this started to dip down into the $14 range, so I wanted to make sure we did a quick update today because I see a lot of people talking about should I sell at $16.70. And I'll give you my thoughts on that. But we wanted to talk about the impact earlier this week that had some people concerned when Tesla had the accident was reported over the weekend. And I think the news came out earlier this week. All EV stocks, it looked like they had an impact and were driven down just a little bit. Remember, Proterra hasn't went public yet. It's still a SPAC. A lot of SPACs have been down below $10 and take a massive hit. So to see that this ACTC stock is still holding above $14 and it's got a support line right there at 14, I think you should take that into consideration. I believe we have support around the $14 level. Now anything could happen, but that would be a price to consider adding. So this is a long-term stock play, and I wouldn't consider selling if you need the money, you need the money, but this is 2025, 2030. You should be thinking long-term with this leader in their industry. The president also did a visit to Proterra, Greenville facility. So for those of you that aren't familiar with their facility map, they have one on the East Coast and one on the West Coast. So the Greenville facility, he did a virtual tour. Also wanted to share with you that climate change is a part of the administration's immediate priorities. There's a climate change summit that's coming tomorrow and the following day. So it's going to be April 22nd and 23rd. So these could be additional catalysts that continue to push the stock price up. Proterra did a 15% run up today. That was incredible. You see, I normally think that anytime you're taking a 20% run in one day, that's a pretty heavy run. And there wasn't anything specifically tying today. This was just a rebound from a previous support level. So you see down here earlier in the morning, it was 1432. Now we're sitting at about, it peaked at 1670. So I also talked in my previous video about NIO, and I had strong convictions, and because of my thoughts of China's performance in the EV sector and how they're a global leader and their sales are massively up, seeing the hit that a lot of these EV stocks have taken because of this chip shortage, I wanted to make sure everybody in NIO in the $34 range, I put that on your radar. And I also wanted to show you that NIO started to run up because they have an earnings coming up. I believe that's April 29th, 2021. So I think there's still a lot of room for that stock to run. And I think if you're looking for more immediate gains, you're going to want to play the China EV sector more than you're going to want to play the US stocks. We are absolutely behind, but it gives you a great opportunity to buy in at lower prices. Now remember, some of these EV stocks, they went from $2 to $30 within a 6-month period or shorter. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about your entry prices. I see people buying these prices of their stocks at premium prices. It's like that FOMO, that fear of missing out. Earlier this week, headlines hit. Tesla is facing another National Highway Traffic Safety Administration investigation after a fatal crash that happened on Saturday in Spring, Texas. It was supposedly driverless. There was no one found in the driver's seat, but then CEO Elon Musk said that the vehicle didn't have the total package to be autonomous driving or self-driving. So there's an investigation that's going to take place. The reason I mention this is because most EV stocks took a hit. There are a lot of SPACs sitting under $10, and ticker symbol ACTC is still a SPAC because Proterra hasn't went public yet, and it's sitting at almost $17. Yesterday, the president visited Proterra Electric on a virtual tour of the Greenville facility. He said he wanted to be there in person in the future, so we'll see if that happens. So these are a couple of the notes that I took. Obviously yesterday we didn't see any movement in the price. We did see some movement today. I think that's more related to the climate summit that's coming up on the 22nd and 23rd. But the CEO wants to 5x current operations. So right now they have 2 manufacturing facilities. They've got a battery facility and then the recycling master agreement with Redwood. So they have a backlog, last noted was $750 million. So they still need some capacity. They plan on doing 1,000 vehicles a year. So I'd like to see them be able to take care of their backlog. I'm not sure what the current capacity is on a yearly basis or month-over-month basis for each of the facilities. So they've got one on the West Coast and one on the East Coast. And the one on the East Coast, Greenville facility, is the one they visited. This was a big win for Proterra. It's on the president's radar. The president visited, so this should give investors more confidence. So I think the whole visit with the president and the Proterra electric vehicle tour, regardless if this made the price move, this should have given investors confidence that this is really happening and you're in the early stages of investing in a company where the market now has momentum. So another potential catalyst for ACTC is tomorrow being Earth Day. That could have had something to do with the run-up today, the anticipation of Biden's climate summit, where he's on April 22nd and April 23rd, he's pulled together 40 world leaders virtually, and John Kerry's been visiting these world leaders. And this is going to be the opportunity for them to unveil their new National Determined Contributions, or NDCs, under the 2015 Paris Agreement. So our initial pledge under the Barack Obama's administration pledged to cut emissions by 26 to 28%. There was an open letter signed by more than 400 corporations this month that called on the Biden administration to adopt a target of cutting greenhouse gas emissions by at least 50%. So in closing, remember that ACTC is a long-term play, and if you're looking to add something that's going to be moving faster, we've got an earnings coming up for NIO. In the previous ACTC video, at the very end of it, I talked about NIO and I talked about why I'm more confident in the China market, their manufacturing ability, and how far ahead they are with their mass production of vehicles at this stage. US is behind, but it doesn't mean that there's not going to be benefits to investing now because you're in the early phase of producing these, in this case, this niche market of buses, 1,000 vehicles a year, and potentially 5xing this operation specifically. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and for those of you not winning, let's get you over to a winning team.